Little yellow bubbles of pus coming from a cow's hoof is a very bad sign, and in this video we're going to do everything we can to heal this little cow's hoof. You're watching the Hoof GP. So it's plain for us all to see this little Jersey cross cow is really feeling a huge amount of pain on that back right foot. So it's our time to get her up this race into the crush and do everything we possibly can to help her walk more comfortably. I know I'm stating the obvious here, but she's placing her foot in a way as to make sure she can avoid the painful part as much as she possibly can. This cow was actually in the crush 2 weeks ago and we weren't able to find the problem, but today that problem is glaringly obvious to me. Sometimes that happens though. Sometimes it takes time for these problems to fully materialise so that we can actually find them, see them, and do something about them. You've all seen the thumbnail, so we all know that that little black spot is the key to this cow's comfort. We need to expose what is underneath it by stripping away the overburdening layers of hoof horn which are disconnected from the corium below. At this point in the trim though, I don't know how deeply in that cavity is, and I certainly don't know if there's pus or not. To be honest though, I am hoping there is, because that would mean that I find the point of pressure and therefore the thing that is causing this cow so much pain. Right, it's time to attack the problem. I need to do it slowly and carefully to make sure I don't go too deeply into the cow's soul, but to make sure that I do expose whatever lies beneath. I'm literally exposing the corium. That yellow substance you can see is the outer layers of the corium that are completely overrun with infection. There's no pus, and I'm slightly disappointed because it means I haven't made any real pressure relief for this cow's foot. But just as I catch myself thinking that, this happens. A small but definitely not insignificant amount of pus begins to emanate from the cavity, which we can't yet see. This is as much relief for me as it is for the cow, because it means I've definitely found out why this cow's foot is so sore. Rather than creating a huge chasmous cavity, this infection has inflamed the entire corium. Yes, there is a small amount of pus, which hopefully we have released the pressure from right now. But there is no cavity to unveil and nothing to completely empty out. These are incredibly sore problems for cows like this, and the only true way to help these cows is through the use of blocks, therapeutic trims like this, and anti-inflammatory drugs. NSAIDs as we call them in the business. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. However, my job right now is to trim this foot, and I need to remove any detached hoof horn I detect, otherwise this little cow will not be healing at all. Right, I know it's not pretty and it's definitely not complete, but now the time has come to attach a block to extend the height of the good claw and raise that bad claw up off the ground. But sometimes in life, the first attempt doesn't always work out perfectly, as you're just about to find out. As Kevin begins to apply the block, I take the opportunity to run my fingers around her hairline to check that I haven't missed any high up cavities before getting back to the final slithers of hoof horn which need to be removed. We can all hear the cow getting impatient in the background. When I said earlier that sometimes you don't get things right the first time, this is what I was talking about. The block we applied is not thick enough. Her sore foot would still have been touching the ground. If we compare side by side, you can now see the much greater height difference the second block adds to this cow's foot. So you saw this beautiful little Jersey in the intro. Clearly there was a huge amount of pain going through that back right foot, and she was doing everything she could to put all of her weight on the inner claw. By swinging her leg out like that, She's trying to avoid placing the outer claw on the ground at all, but she was trying in vain, which is why she was feeling so much pain. Now that we've added 2 blocks to that back right foot, she's able to put all of her weight through those instead of through the sore foot. That'll allow the sore foot to be up off the ground, out of the muck, manure, moisture and slurry, which will help it to heal. It'll reduce the pain vastly that she's feeling through that back right leg, because the inflamed digit will no longer be touching the ground, and that inflammation going down will be the key to curing this cow's foot. But even if we weren't to actually cure it with this one trim, we have made a massive difference by relieving the pain she's feeling and allowing her to be much more comfortable. But set that aside, we actually have set her on the road to recovery right now. Last time we trimmed her, we couldn't find the problem. We needed to wait for it to materialise, and we weren't sure which digit it was even in. This time we found these bubbles coming out of her foot, blocked her, and now she's well on her way to recovery. You've been watching the Hoof GP. If you made it this far, think about subscribing and becoming part of this herd. Join us on our journey here in Southwest Scotland.
Oh man, my lisp is getting really bad.